last 2 weeks have been crazy. In my last video, if you've watched episode 7, I talked about how I had had 5 days off and I was so relaxed that when I went to the gym and did a workout, it was the best workout I had had in at least a year. This time it's the opposite. It's been an absolutely crazy couple of weeks. Some good crazy stuff, some not so good stuff, but it's really affected my training. The quality has gone. So it just shows that your mindset, your stress, your sleep habits, all that sort of stuff really plays a role when you train. And you can't always control having stress. Sometimes you can't actually remove the thing that's stressing you out. But that's really affected me this past week. I don't know what is so monumental about 12 weeks. It's always exciting for me. The 12 weeks out point is exciting. I don't know why. It's just this round number that I really like, but that's where I am now. A few things have happened in the last couple of weeks, and in fact if we go back over the last month, because I'm competing in a new federation, one thing I decided to start doing is volunteering backstage at the season A shows. So I'm doing season B in 12 weeks time, but season A has just wrapped. So I did the local show and I did the nationals, helped out backstage. And I tell you what, if you're a competitor, that's one of the best things you could possibly do, is put your name down to be a volunteer, because I can't believe how much I learnt. And that's going to translate to me having a much better day when it's my turn to compete. So I got to see the venue, got to see how the day is run, meet everyone backstage, meet a lot of the organisers, really study the competitors on stage and backstage. So, you know, people look very different when they're walking around backstage, so it's good to see all of that. Get a real sense of who's winning. Something that's really going to accelerate your skills as a competitor is helping out backstage. So yeah, you provide value to the federation and you are giving at the same time, but you learn so much in the process. So I'm so glad I did that. But I tell you what, when you help out with these shows, there's no way you're carrying a camera around with you and vlogging, because you're just flat out busy all day. So I've pretty much got no content of those shows because I was so busy helping all day. And I'm talking about 12 hours straight, no stopping while we're there. And the show wasn't even done. I actually left early. So that was hectic in a good way. I'm so pleased I did it, and it makes me feel so much more confident for when it's my turn. Seeing the stage, the configuration of the stage, the backstage area, meeting all the organisers and all the volunteers, everyone who runs the show, knowing everyone, it just makes me feel, yeah, I can do this. That's made it a lot more real. That's made some of my weekends very, very busy. Something not so good that's happened is one of my dogs has got quite a significant injury right now, and I had to rush him to the emergency vet Monday night about 9 p.m. He was actually screaming in pain, and it's quite hard for me to talk about it because I don't want to cry on camera. But hearing an animal make those sounds, it's probably the worst feeling in the world for me. So took him to the vet. They had to give him an opioid shot straight away. He was in that much pain. When they do that, then you can't, legally you're not allowed to leave until you see a vet, because it's a triage nurse that does it. So yeah, the vet came out, and his injury is in his neck. So he's on strict crate rest right now, and he has to be very sedated because he's one of these dogs that is very crazy, outgoing, loves to jump, ferocious when he plays. So it's not surprising, it's horrible, it's not surprising that he's ended up with quite a significant neck injury, and he has to completely rest it now, and I'm guessing for about 6 weeks. And then after that, I have to be very mindful with what he does in the future. So I've had a lot of sleepless nights, I've cried a lot, because I've seen him in pain. Even on painkillers, he's on very, very strong ones now, as well as an anti-anxiety, because I just need to keep him still, because you can't tell an animal, don't move your neck, otherwise you could make it worse. So that's thrown out my whole week, and that was Monday night. Today is Friday night, so it was about 5 days ago. So I did miss a couple of days training. I haven't practiced my posing at all for 5 days, which is not like me. I normally don't go more than a day or two without practice. I'm usually pretty good at doing it at least 4 or 5 times a week for about 20 minutes. And I did some today just to do a check-in video, just to show you where I'm at. And I can feel how much more seized up and tight I am. And it's partly from not posing, because when I pose I do lots of mobility in between all my poses, and when I train I do a lot of mobility as well. So if I've not trained and I'm not posed, then that's a lot less mobility work. And when you're not training as well, you just get all seized up and tight. That's just what happens. So training is great for obviously building muscle, but it also encourages blood flow through your body, and it just makes you feel so much better. So I didn't have that for a few days. I've had a few more sessions since, so I have started going, and the first one was absolutely shit. So it shows to me that if you're in a state of shock or stress, that can translate to your strength levels, and I truly believe that, and it really happened to me. Just couldn't lift what I normally lift for that session. And today I went again and it was a little bit better, so I'm slowly improving, because I can see he's a little bit more settled now. He's 5 days along, so the inflammation is starting to come down. But it has been, the last few weeks has just been absolutely flat out. So a couple of things that I am proud of is I've stuck to the food, because all the food was prepared, so I just continued eating. I think when I'm stressed and flat out, my food is better, because I think I start thinking about wanting stuff when my mind is idle. So I know I talked about this in a previous video where if you want to stay on track, you got to keep yourself busy, keep your mind occupied all the time, because it stops your mind from wandering. So I think that's why it's been so easy to stick to the food. I did miss a few training sessions and I haven't practiced my posing as much, but I definitely feel like I've got a bit leaner. I'll show you my skin fold readings. These are actually from last week, so these are just over 7 days old. I've lost another kgs of fat since my readings the 2 weeks prior, so that's pretty good. So I'm on track. I only need to lose probably another 2 kilos to be as lean, and I'm talking about 2 kilos of fat, to be as lean as I was when I did the universe. But I do want to be a little bit leaner, and I've got the time. So I've got 12 weeks to get at least 2 kgs, maybe even 4. Because if I look at my body shape, there's plenty of fat to still come off. And I've got the time to do it, which is good. It has been an absolutely flat out week. And I just wanted to share that because I'm trying to make these videos real. They're like a journal entry. So it's not, I'm not just here to inspire people to train, but show you that there are ups and downs the whole way through. And you can't always, when you're going through a down, something really stressful, the last thing you want to do is turn a camera on and talk about it. So I can do it now because I'm past the worst part. My little boy, you can see he's sleeping in his pen. He's had a lot of painkillers, so he's very, very sleepy right now. But I don't know, it's like, for me it's like kryptonite. When an animal's not well or in pain, I can't handle it. When a human is in pain, I can empathise and feel for them without taking it on. I can't do it with animals. I can't handle it. So I know he will make a full recovery, but I have to work through it as much as he does. He's the one in pain, but I'm the one who's feeling pain for him.